Hello friends, my name is Amanda and I am new to BookTube. So this is my first video ever for BookTube. I'm really excited. I'm just gonna do a quick introduction of me and then we'll do my January wrap up. So I am Amanda, as I said, and like I said, I'm new to BookTube, but I started a book talk in November and it's been really fun, and I liked it more than I thought I would. And I have an issue of committing to a hobby and then losing interest in it in 2 weeks. So I was kind of worried that I would do that with book talk, but I didn't, and I'm still doing it today, and I'll have the link down below for that. But while we were talking, the whole world was talking about the TikTok ban a few weeks ago, I decided to move over to Bookstagram or Instagram, and I already had a Bookstagram for years. Actually, I started it like in 2018 and I was just really inconsistent with posting on it. So I would post here and there, and then I'd lose interest, and then I'd come back 2 years later and post something. So that wasn't very consistent, but I had to start a new Instagram account for books because I couldn't get into my old one. So I just changed up my screen name a little bit, and I started a new one, and I'll put the link for that down below. You're welcome to follow me on those two things if you want to. You may have come over to YouTube from those platforms. Let's be friends. Let's talk about books. Now I'll tell you about my personal life. I've always been a reader. My mom was a reader. I got that from her. My dad he went through like a phase where he really liked nonfiction. So he would read too every now and then. But my mom would bring like 3 romance novels on vacation and finish them all. So I lean more towards what my mom did. I don't read as fast as she does, but I do read. I try to read as much as I can in my free time. I don't have a lot of free time. I have a full-time job. I'm a librarian in a public library. Yes, it's very exciting. It's the best job in the world. I'm actually a children's librarian, so I get to work with the kids, and so I work there full-time, and then I have 2 stepchildren and a husband. So, and I have 3 pets. I'm busy all the time. So I read when I can. And even with all these things, I still read at least 100 books a year. And I'm not saying that to shame anybody for how much you read in a year. If you read 1 book last year, good for you. I love that for you. Let's talk about it. Did you like it? What book was it? I'm just trying to give you a picture of what the content on the channel is going to be like. I read as much as I can, but I'm very busy. So these hot new releases like Onyx Storm, it took me like a week to finish that, and I was lucky to even do it in a week. But I feel like I bring a unique perspective because 1, I'm a busy person, and 2, I'm a librarian. So I'm around books all the time, and I get a lot of my books from the library, which is different than what I've seen other book content creators. But I have seen some that do use their library. Kudos to y'all. And if you got money like that to buy new books, good for you, but I don't. Anyway, I bring a unique perspective because I read picture books. I read with my stepchildren. We read picture books, children's nonfiction, YA, adult. So I'm all over the board, and I hope you like the stuff I create. I hope I stick with this. I hope we make a lot of friends and talk about books, get those book recommendations. I'm always open to new things. So now I'm gonna go into my January wrap up for you. So this month I've read 14 books so far. I'm working on one today, and it's the last day of January. I may finish it today, so we may finish 15 books for January. That would be awesome, but it's okay if not. I don't have a lot of the physical copies because, as I said, I checked them out at the library, but I will put pictures right here, and you can see the covers and we'll go through each one. So the first one that I finished in January was Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I really liked this book. I would give it like 4 stars. It was really, if you like mysteries and like solving puzzles and stuff, that this book is a good one. But it is very YA. It is in the YA category. So, and it is very YA. These are teenagers. There's no spicy stuff. They're just solving mysteries, and it's clean. But there are some darker themes a little bit to it. But if you don't like, reading about teenagers, protagonists, maybe skip this one. But I loved it, and I am actually reading another Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. The second book I read was If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. This book, whew, if you want to read this one, bring the tissues. It is, again, very YA, very teenager-y, but I like that kind of thing every now and then, so I enjoyed this book. I was invested, and the ending, yeah, bring the tissues. Moving on, Homefront by Kristen Hanna. Kristen Hanna always brings the waterworks. She's good at that. Homefront, I almost DNF'd this book, and I don't know why. I guess it's been a while since I read Kristen Hanna, and her books take a minute to get started. So if you start this one and you're just like not into it at first, keep going. It'll get better. But I give this book 5 stars. I love this book. It made me cry very much, and it definitely pulled on the heartstrings. Basically, you follow Jolene and Michael. They're a married couple. They have issues in their marriage. They have 2 daughters. Jolene is in the National Guard, and she loves what she does, but Michael's kind of like a jerk about it. He's like anti-military, which is interesting how they got together. But anyway, so they are having problems, and then one day, out of the blue, the National Guard is like, hey, Jolene, you're being deported, and you leave in a couple weeks, or a month or something. It was like not a long time, and that's military for you. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do? And yeah, it's a tearjerker. It is a good book. I love Kristen Hanna. She's one of my favorites, I think, for sure. The next book was The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. And I love Frida McFadden. I've been riding that train with everybody else. I love The Housemaid. I ate it up. It was so good. And this one was really good. I recommend the Housemaid series. I don't want to talk too much about this book. I don't want to give too much away if you're like, haven't finished it yet. I haven't finished the series either, so don't. But check it out. If you like mystery, thriller, suspense, this is a good one. The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rakulek. I wanted to read something about a wedding because it was my anniversary a few days ago, my wedding anniversary, our first wedding anniversary, and I wanted something like dark and twisted because I like that. So this was a really good one if you like mystery, thriller, suspense type books. Basically we follow a guy named Frank. He's like a regular dude, and he's like, he's older, he's about ready to retire almost, and he has 1 child, 1 daughter, and his wife died a long time ago, so she's gone, and he has the 1 daughter, and they are estranged, so they don't talk. And then like after 3 years of no talking, she calls him out of the blue, and she's like, I'm getting married, I want you to be there. And he's just like tripping all over himself. He's like, I'll do anything, blah blah blah. Well, this book, it has a slow burn. It has there's like this feeling of dread the whole time. I love that kind of thing, so definitely check that out if you're like me and you like that kind of thing. The next book I read was Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. I don't know why we're not talking about the Serpent and Dove series as much as other books. I read Serpent and Dove last December, I think it was. Yeah, because I did the 24-hour readathon, and that's when I read that one. And I couldn't wait to read the next ones. Blood and Honey was great. I mean, it was, you know, there was a lot of information being thrown at you, but if you like witches, fantasy, magic, like, read it. I mean, it's considered YA, but there's like some dark, mature things going on. So I don't know. I like that series. I don't want to talk too much about this book because, again, if you are reading this series, this is like the second out of the 3 books. So I don't want to like ruin some stuff for you. But I gave this book 4.5 stars. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. I saw this book everywhere on TikTok and Instagram, everywhere, and I was interested in it. And then I had a person that I know personally. I don't know why I said that like that. She recommended this book to me. She was like, "It's really great. You need to read it." And she's right. It was really great. I definitely give it 4.5 stars. I would say I like the magic in it. The world building part of it, it was a bit hard to follow for me. I don't know why, but I did end up liking the book, and I can't wait to read the second one. The next one I read was Listen for the Lie. This one I feel would be better as an audiobook, and I think I heard that before, but I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I read it in like a day. It was so good. I just wish I could have listened to it. I may do a reread of it later on, like a while from now, and to try to get the audiobook. Because it's got like a podcast in it. Like basically there's a podcaster trying to solve this cold case. And I've listened to a book before the podcast in it, and I loved the mix of the podcast and the story. So good. So these books I have physical copies of because I bought them all. 2 weeks ago I did a 12-hour readathon instead of 24-hour readathon because I just didn't have the time to do a 24-hour, but I wanted to do a 12-hour. And my focus was on these 3 books: Abby Jimenez, Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer. And I ended up reading all of Part of Your World and half of this one, to Yours Truly. So Part of Your World, I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. I love the characters. I love Daniel. He is adorable. And there was a baby goat. I mean, you can't go wrong with the baby goat. She wore pajamas even. Like, hello. But yeah, this is a cute little romance book. Ow, if you like romance. And the series in general, I'm realizing that I really like books like this. So they connect, but they're not like, this one, it was about Daniel and, what was her name? Alexis. Daniel and Alexis. So this was about Daniel and Alexis. And then this one is about Alexis's best friend, Brianna, and a new guy named Jacob. So like, they kind of all connect. So this one is the 3rd one in the series. So this is about Brianna's brother's friend, Justin, and another person named Emma. So I really like this one. 5 stars for this one. This one was my least favorite of the 3, and I don't know why. Because I really like both the characters a lot. But basically, well, let me tell you this. Alexis is a doctor at this big fancy hospital, and she is going through a breakup with her ex-boyfriend, and she like is driving home from a funeral, and she was kind of in between the funeral and her home. It was like halfway in between, and she gets stuck in a ditch, and Daniel pulls her out, and they just kind of have like a meet cute, and then they kind of have like a night together, and then she just keeps going back to him, and romance happens. I won't give too much away. But then in this one, so we've got Brianna is also a doctor in the big fancy hospital, the same hospital. And this Jacob guy, he's new, and they become friends, and they there's like a fake dating kind of trope here, but if you like fake dating, you'll like this one for sure. But I like this too. I would give it 4.5 stars. I don't know, for some reason it was, I don't know, but this one is my favorite just for the summer. I know I can see why everybody liked this one so much. There's one thing I will say about all three of these, they are rough romance, but they look fluffy, you know, and light, but there are some darker things going on with the characters. So, and there is a content warning in the beginning of yours truly and Just for the Summer. But this one, like I said, is about Brianna's brother's friend, Justin. He's going through some big life changes, and he meets a travel nurse named Emma on the internet, and they kind of get bonded over some funny stuff, and things happen. I don't want to give too much away, but I gave that one 5 stars. It was really, really good. All three of those were really, really good. I'm glad I bought them, and I'm glad I read them, and I want to read more Abby Jimenez. The next one, I kind of read this in between these three, but the next one is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. This was my favorite of the ones I've read so far. I liked it more than Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I won't say yet, but anyway, it was my favorite, and I loved it. And I love the small town romance. I'm into that. I grew up in a small town where everybody knew everybody's business. So this small town, like, everybody's all quirky and nice. I love that. So I recommend that if you like that. The next one I'll talk about. Yeah. If you haven't finished this yet, but if you have finished this yet, look at me. Let's share a moment. Okay. That's our moment. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. If you don't know what the heck this is part of a series. It's the 3rd book in a series. The first book is Fourth Wing. I'll put a picture here. And Iron Flame is the 2nd book. So this was like the hot new release. I saw a headline. It was like the most sold adult book release in like 20 years. I believe it, because you couldn't find this anywhere. And so what I did is I mostly listened to this book, but then my library finally got a copy of it, and it's really pretty. I just want to show off the dragons, and then it gets gray. It's pretty. But anyway, this was a good book. I give it 4 stars as a book. I will say, if you are into the series and you haven't read this yet, and you didn't, like, after Iron Flame, you read Iron Flame and you didn't do any rereads, yeah, you're gonna be a little bit lost in the beginning. I don't know why. Even some people I saw people online that they did reread it. They'd reread Iron Flame like more than twice, and they were still confused at the beginning. So pay attention. Like, maybe take notes if you need to, because I was a little bit lost for a minute, but then when you get to the ending, you will feel dead inside. I'm just so you're well aware, but I give that 4 stars. Can't wait to see what the next one brings. And then the last book I finished this month was Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. This one I didn't like as much as the other two, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's like a Christmas book, or if it was the characters. So the female main character was not my favorite, but I will keep reading whatever she puts out. So that is my January wrap up. I am currently reading The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I'm about halfway done, a little less than halfway. So I may finish this today. I don't know. But anyway, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope we continue to make more content together, some conversations, bookish conversations together. And if you want, please consider subscribing to me and leaving some comments below. What is your favorite book you read this month? Thank you for watching.